Welcome back to the Christian Women's Health Collective podcast. It is May. Are you feeling springy yet? Well, this is the time of year where we start letting go of all of those New Year resolutions that we made and losing our routine. So we want to talk to you this month about our routines. And today we are focused on why we have a morning routine. So I'm going to turn it over to Julie so she can start talking to you. But first, I want to remind you, if you're in the membership, go listen to this podcast plus the training together. Julie?
I think you said it, like starting the routine and the reason why. And for me, we talked a little bit about it through our testimonies, and it was praying. I don't think I ever really had a routine. When I was younger, I had the basics like brushing my teeth or how I would get dressed or whatever. Like I've had a routine more about my day to day, but not about loving me or my health, like taking care of me. And when I started my prayer journey, that was part of it. And it's basically just started out and like picturing who I wanted to be or who, like what I would vision myself as and how I would see myself. And then it was like, well, God, I see her as this and I want to see her as this. And so I would pray to show me to, what she would be. And I always thought that I would be something else, when I talk about the worldly views, that's where it comes from, because I would always look at other people and think, gosh, I want to be like her, or I want to be able to do that. And everything I would do, I would fail, and it was like, I can't do anything. And so by creating like the reason around why I wanted a routine was because I wanted to figure out who I was and who I am. And I knew that after Zach's accident, it was like I could feel myself. I could just feel so much change. And it was like, okay, God, I know that if I'm going to live 60 more years, I don't want it to be done. I don't want it to be this death because I chose and I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know what kind of exercise. I don't know that I even like exercise, like all these things kept going through my mind. And so I basically just kept visioning, like, who did I want to be? What would I want her to walk like? How would I want her to feel? And I just started like checking off the things. I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like this. Okay, I do like this. And I love to dance. And so it was like, okay, well, let's dance. So I think that's part of it, is just figure out, what it is for you that you like and not look to the world. And when we're thinking about our why, I just encourage you to pray your why through with God and let him be part of your why, and let go of your expectations and really look to him for the things that you like to do. So I want to talk to you more about that later on.
Sheri, you're up.
Yeah. So I'm a very structured person. I like to do things, very methodically. So a routine is really important to me. And so having that morning routine is kind of like, we're starting our day now, and that's the way I have operated. So it doesn't mean that I don't change what my routine is, because every once in a while I'll be like, well, I think I would like to do this a little bit differently, or I might want to add something into my morning routine. And then it throws things off for a while. And then I get back on track and I have my morning set up again the way that I want it to be, or whatnot. But there's, a few staples that I keep in my routine, and it's just the way that I operate. It's just, one of the first things, I get up, I go to the bathroom, I brush my teeth, and then I'm doing my devotionals. And, so that's like always, in there. And that's, starting my day with God. And I think that that's it's really important. I think my husband and I were talking about that, because it's like sometimes if you wait till later, it doesn't happen, you know. So it's like it's something that I know that I need to tuck in my morning. So that's part of, you know, my why. Why do I, you know, have some structure? And the other thing is exercise. You know, why? Same reason, right? I have to be intentional about doing that exercise. Even though I love to do it, you know, I still have to be intentional and go out for a walk on the mornings that I don't go teach my boot camp class. And that really helps me mentally prepare for my day. So I mean, this week, it rained in the morning and it was hard, and I will go out with an umbrella and walk anyway, but not the other day because it was coming down hard, and it was just like, this has just really messed up my routine. So, and I feel it, you know, I do feel it when I can't have the structure, but so that's one of the reasons why I do it. How about you, Bree?
So the reason that I have routines is because my life was absolute chaos before I had routines in place, because my brain is like not structured. I don't know how else to explain. Like, I have a lot of ADHD tendencies, and so like when I was a young mom, nothing was ever clean. I was a terrible housekeeper. I wouldn't touch dirty dishes. I hated vacuuming. The laundry was always in heaps because I hated actually folding it and putting it away. So like I would like half start things and never finish them, or I would never get around to starting things ever. So so I had to learn to start incorporating routines, so that way it was a little bit at a time, not everything all at once, because I worked long hours. Like I worked 12-hour shifts, my husband worked 12-hour shifts, we had 2 babies at home. So there was, you know, 3 or 4 days in a row of nothing getting done because everyone's exhausted, we're just sleeping, we're just making it through those long days of work, right? But then everything had to happen on the weekends, and so then I spent my entire weekends doing entire week's worth of dishes, doing an entire week's worth of laundry, doing an entire week's worth of grocery shopping, doing an entire week's worth of cleaning. Like it was just so overwhelming, and so it took me a long time to figure out that I needed to have routines in place, and I had to have boundaries, and I had to have schedules. So I started implementing schedules with my kids when they were really little, like a bedtime routine, so that they were used to going to bed at a certain time. We did all the certain things and they would sleep better. You know, they knew the routine. And so that was kind of an eye opener, like, oh, look how much happier they are with a routine, you know, and how much happier I am because they actually go to sleep every night. So you know, the older I get, the more routines that I have, because it helps me be more efficient with my time and my day, and it helps my brain go the way that I need it to. They don't always work. Sometimes I ignore my schedule on days when I just can't go there, but for the most part, I don't have the huge piles of laundry to the ceiling on the couch that my mother-in-law would come over and help me fold once a week. You know, I don't have the hurry and put all the dishes into a trash bag and set it in the garage because company is here, you know. I don't know if you guys have any of these housekeeping horror stories, but I do. I have lots. And yeah, I was totally disorganized, you know, mess. And I always wanted to be organized, but I didn't have the time, the energy, like just the mental fortitude to do that when I was sleep deprived and working long hours and 2 little kids and husband and everything. So I don't know if any of you are in that boat, but you know, give yourself some grace. You'll get there eventually. You'll figure things out. It's just adding small routines one at a time and making one new thing work, one new routine. And once you get that down, then you can add the next one. So don't try and do the whole all or nothing kind of thing, because it gets overwhelming, and then you feel like a failure if you're like, I can't do everything all at once. I can't follow the schedule, because I had a lot of schedules that I never followed. I was great at writing them, but then I never followed any of them. They were just decorations in my
Mhm.
so until I really made a concerted effort to do just one small thing every day. So yeah, I moving into a tiny house, I've had to be really intentional about staying and sticking with my daily routine so that things don't get overwhelming, because if I let anything go too long in a tiny house, then there's no room to do anything else. So then you're forced to do it, which I suppose is good also. But it's good to have boundaries, routines, schedule, like, you know, someone that to keep you accountable or keep yourself accountable if you struggle with doing those things like I do.
Mhm.
Well, I can piggyback off of quite a few of those things that were discussed. One of them being I get up in the morning too and have my routine Monday through Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday it changes just a little bit because I'm currently working in an office Monday through Friday. So I think part of having that routine is definitely, for me, the why is so that I can stay in gratitude and go to work with a peaceful mindset. So part of so my husband and I are those ooey gooey people, and we pretty much write our routines together so that we can spend as much time as possible together. And so we have the same routine in the morning. And we were much like what you just said though, Bree. He got so bad. I'm bad. I was every hour. He was so bad. He was filling in every half hour for the entire day, from the moment we got up to the moment we went to bed. And prior to me getting sober, I was very much a fly by the seat of my pants person, because I didn't know if I was going to wake up hungover. I didn't know if I was going to wake up, I didn't know. I just didn't know. So I didn't care, and I didn't plan around anything. It was, whatever happened, happened. And then after I got sober and started realizing that I needed to start living my life, not so crazy, I started developing routines. And at that point in time, it was very much, devotionals and AA literature and things like that. And as I've stayed in that type of routine, they've changed and evolved and had different styles and techniques through the years. But definitely starting out my day with Jesus is huge. And when I don't have a Bible study in the mornings, I feel it. It's super rare, but it does happen occasionally. That's a big deal for us in our home, and I'll talk more about the why when we get into membership. But a piece of that why is because if I don't feel like God is with me when I'm walking into my day, I'll forget. Right? If I don't bring God into my day first thing in the morning, I'll forget. And I have a routine for driving to work when I'm by myself versus driving to work if my husband's in the car with me, because this week he's been in the car with me and I don't get to fulfill that same routine, and it's making me crazy. So then I have a routine when I get to work. I mean, so we have, I think flexibility is really important in creating routines. But I also agree that we can't do 50 different tasks or try and create 50 different routines in a short amount of time. Habits take time to form, and habits are routine. That's how you build a routine, is to start making habits. So, the standard is it takes 21 days for a habit to become a routine. Don't try to make more than one habit at a time. It's pretty good advice there. So if you are interested in hearing more about our why and the structure of our routines, I encourage you to join our membership. Before we close out the podcast session, is there anything else you ladies would like to add? All right. Well, please join our membership. If you don't want to join our membership, we ask that you at least rate this podcast. If you're listening on a podcast platform, please give us a 5-star rating and a review. If you're on YouTube, please leave us a comment in the comment section below. Let us know what's on your heart. What would you like to hear? We have a very strong mission to help 1,000 women this year. We need your help to help them. So please share, share, share. all of our information with everybody that you know. And in the meantime, if you're not in the membership, we ask that you
Please like.
And subscribe.
And share.
and don't forget to hit that notification bell so that you get notified every time we put out a new podcast. And we will see you next week. Bye, everybody.
Like a bird in the sky.